When I first started my business, I had nothing. I didn't have any money saved. I was living with my in-laws and I was broke. I didn't even have a college degree to go get a job. I started learning on my own, but there was one thing that started to fast track my success, and that's when I first got a mentor. This mentor came into my life almost 6 or 7 years ago, and that mentor was James Wedmore. And what he was able to do is show me how to launch, how to systemize things, how to market, how to put the course together. But most importantly, what he taught me to do was to turn my business into a machine. And since that day, I have been able to mentor hundreds of students inside of Business by Design do exactly the same. So if you're considering joining Business by Design and joining through our link, I'm going to break down exactly how I'm going to help you possibly get to 6 figures within 6 months and systemize your business just like James did for me. So if you want to see that process, well, keep on listening. Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. It's exciting times, as you likely know. Business by Design, James Wedmore's Business by Design opens up in a few days, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. It opens up on Monday. And we have some really awesome bonuses that we're going to be giving you absolutely for free if you join through our link. But you may or may not know that we have been promoting Business by Design for the last 5, maybe even 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. And I have literally been promoting it since the first version of it to what it is today. And I've worked with hundreds, like literally hundreds, maybe even close to 1,000 at this point, BBD students, helping them navigate the course, helping them build their business, answering their questions, helping them figure out their messaging. We know Business by Design inside and out. I've also worked with a lot of students who've seen really fast success, and I've seen some students who've seen success over a course of a couple of years, but we've been able to boil down exactly what it is they do, and we've been able to mentor and help them to facilitate that process, and we've been able to create bonuses that will help you facilitate that process as well. And it is 100% possible to do your first 100K in the first 6 months of going through Business by Design. In fact, I've seen people do it even faster than that. But I feel like 6 months, 100K is a very reasonable time frame to be able to go through the program, put things into action, and start seeing results. And I've narrowed it down to about 8 different steps and areas of focus that I like to focus on when we work with the Business by Design students who join through our link. So just to give you guys a little background and the reason why we're able to facilitate this and help mentor people through it is because, well, first of all, I've been in the space for a really long time. And we had an agency, and inside this agency, we actually helped sell multiple different types of courses and coaching programs and even services in various different niches to various different audiences. I'm not crafting bonuses, and I'm not the type of mentor who is just like, hey, I've built my own business selling one product to one audience. No, we've created, I think 3 multi-million-dollar courses, a multi-million-dollar coaching program. We've helped some of our clients scale their coaching program in the first year to past $1 million. I've done, I don't even know how many six-figure launches for either ourselves and our clients over the years. We've done multiple 7-figure launches. I've created at least 6 different programs that have all done over 6 figures. We've even helped James take his launches from 800,000 all the way up to 500,000 just by helping him with his messaging. And so we understand how to sell stuff, regardless of the industry, regardless of the niche, regardless of what price point you're at right now. And we know how to be able to do it so that you can start working less inside of your business, how to systemize things, how to process things, because that's exactly what we've been able to do and what we've been able to help the students with. So we've created a series of bonuses that you're going to get absolutely for free. And it's going to help you facilitate these 8 steps. Okay. So I'm going to go through these 8 steps, but just so you know, some of the bonuses that we're going to give you absolutely for free are going to be a 6-week accelerator where every week I'm going to mentor and coach you on a very specific topic. We're going to give you homework and we're going to answer your questions for a week and a half. Sometimes we go a little bit longer than 6 weeks if you guys need it, but we're promising at least 6 weeks. We're also going to make a thought reversal video for you. We're going to have some special trainings for you as well to help you with things that you are going to need help with, like sales training or webinar training, stuff like that. We have a whole slew of different calls that we're going to do. You have a private Facebook group to be able to ask me questions. Like when we say mentor, we really mean we're going to mentor you. So here's where we like to start. What we like to do, and if you really want to see success with Business by Design and really just business in general, if you just want to grow a really successful online course business or a program or a service, it starts by understanding the problem that you solve. And this is the biggest thing that we have to work with Business by Design students on, is it's not about figuring out what skill set you have. It's not about like trying to put a program together right away. It's not about looking at what knowledge you have and packaging it into a program. The reason why we don't start there is because when people start there, they go, here's all my knowledge and here's the benefits that this knowledge is going to bring you. Where I want you to focus on, if you want to see fast success, and again, we've worked with hundreds of students, the students that have seen the fastest success with our mentorship in Business by Design are the ones who focus on problems first. And usually they understand one core problem that they solve. It may not seem like a big deal, but it is huge. It's one of those things that's like a small little tweak, but makes a massive difference. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to focus on not really creating the program. I don't want you to spend time creating the program. If your program's already created, great. If it's not created, we're not going to spend any time on creating the program. We are going to start by focusing on problems and problem-focused messaging and content, because that will drive people to you. If we spend the first 6 weeks creating a program, you're going to spend 6 weeks creating a program and have no one to sell it to and no demand being created. However, if we start by creating content, focusing on problems, testing it, you're going to have an audience that's going to come to you because you're accurately and specifically describing them and their problem. They're going to be begging to work with you. And I know that might sound crazy, but when you can accurately describe, here's a problem you're having, here's why it's happening, people's subconscious automatically goes, I need to work with that person. So it's very common for you to have people DMing you, messaging you, asking to work with you at this point. Basically, what I want to do is I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste energy. I want you to make money now. And that's what we focus on, is how do we figure out the messaging, the marketing, and the content? How do we figure out the problems? How do we get people coming into us? How do we create demand for something first and possibly make sales now? Like that is literally step one. I want you to make money now. Now that brings us to step two, which is we can brainstorm and start looking at problems, but we also need to test those things. So we run you through a testing process, a testing philosophy where you start putting out a problem and testing it. And here's a framework and a content framework, and we're going to get you exposure, and we're going to start getting you to understand your messaging first. And once we understand the messaging, then we can go and start looking at more things, which is sales mechanisms. So that's step number 3. Once we understand the problems, you could start making money right then and there. In some cases that does happen. Number 2 is now we're going to be very intentional with testing messaging, building an audience, creating demand. Now that you probably have some audience, you probably have some content, you probably have some momentum. Now we need to sell them something. I don't want you to go and create the course. I want you to sell it without it being created. You can choose what you want to do. You can sell it as a service. You can sell it as a one-on-one service. You can sell it as a course, but we sell it before it's created. Okay. And this is, again, a big philosophy inside of Business by Design. It's literally how I would, and by the way, this is the exact same process I would follow if I had to start all over again. And this is what we run you guys through. So what we do is then focus on that sales mechanism in a beta launch. How do we start a beta launch? How do we create a launch that gets you testimonials, that gets you some exposure, that gets you students, that gets you paid? And then what that allows us to do is to have you start creating the program. And you can create the program as, a week long, like a 6-week like boot camp. And then you take the recordings and package that up into a program and then eventually create a more fine-tuned, robust program. There's a lot of different ways we can do it, but that's step number 3 is figure out what sales mechanism is going to work for you. Is it a webinar, a challenge, video series, and then we do a beta launch. Don't need to spend a lot of money on this, just a little bit of money to get a beta launch. You can probably get away with a couple $100. Number 4 is we just repeat that beta launch a few more times. So what happens is so many people will get into the beta launch, they'll put all their time and their effort into this beta launch, they'll completely forget about sales. The thing is I want you to have mastery over your launch. I want you to really understand the messaging. So I want you to go through your beta launch 2 or 3 more times. Just repeat the process, especially if your beta launch worked. If it worked, why are we not going to do it again? Just do it again. It's going to be even easier this time because now all the training's ready to go. You probably have a system, you have a process. We get to fine tune the messaging. We get to see what's going to work better, what's not going to work better. We can make small changes, and what's going to happen by the time you do 3 beta launches, you now have students, you now have testimonials, you now have refined messaging, you now have, what's going to work. You probably have a little bit more confidence. So then what we're going to do is, depending on how much money you made, the next step is to look at where you're spending most of your time inside of the business, because you probably have a little bit of a momentum now. And we're going to look at what processes inside of Business by Design and processes that James has that you can incorporate into your business to free up your time. I want you to either hire a virtual assistant to help set up the next launch, or to do a lot of the mundane things that you're doing that you really shouldn't be doing. So that's step number 5, as we start to delegate if you have the budget to do it. However, if we've nailed the first 4 steps, then you should 100% have the budget to be able to go and do that. Next part of this is we want you to start fine-tuning and systemizing your content. Let's start putting out a little bit more content. Let's go a little bit bigger with the problems. Let's systemize it a little bit more, because right now we have this snowball, right? It's at the top of the mountain. It's been going down. It's getting bigger, a little bit more momentum. We have to understand the reason why that momentum happened in the first place is because we were focusing on messaging, right? Like that was step 1 and 2. Let's test the messaging. Let's test the content. Let's see what's working. Step number 3 is let's beta launch. Step number 4 is let's continue testing. By the time we get to step 6, we should have a very clear idea of what messaging is working, what content is working. So let's systemize it and put it out there. Once we do that, we're going to go into a more formal launch. This could be webinar launch, video series launch, a live launch, a challenge. By the way, all of that's covered inside of Business by Design, and I can help you put all of that stuff together. Once that launch is done, that's actually step number 7. I lied, there's going to be 8 steps. Once that launch is done, once we have gone through that, what we want to do is start to build a back-end offer. So a back-end offer will be a higher level program, some upsells, some downsells. So now that you have a launch bringing people in, you probably already have a lot of students from your beta launch. Let's sell more stuff to your beta customers. Let's do another launch to bring in more customers. And then let's build out a back-end system. Once you have the back-end system built, and this, by the way, this could all happen within 6 months. This could also happen within a year, but really the first 6 figures that you see could all happen inside your beta launches. We've literally had students doing $40,000 to $50,000 on a beta launch, and then they'll just repeat that process over and over again. So by step 3 and 4, you could have hit your first 6 figures already. Usually by the time we get to step 7, where you're systemizing your content, you're doing a bigger launch, you're working on your back-end system, you've already crushed that 6-figure level. Okay. But I don't want you to stop at 6 figures. I want you to go beyond that. So once we have the bigger back-end offer, it's just a matter of just repeating this process. So now that we have your big launch done, let's redo the launch. Let's fine tune it. You have a back-end process built out now, and it just becomes a repeatable process over and over and over again. So those are really the best and easiest ways to navigate Business by Design. That's what we've seen our students have the biggest success with, is that process. Now, just to break it down, because I knew I kind of threw a lot of steps at you. The first 6 months, we're really just going to focus on steps 1 through 4, maybe 5. And steps 1 through 4, again, are understanding the problem, getting you some money now, testing the messaging with more content, beta launching, repeating the beta launches, and then possibly hiring some virtual assistants to free you up so you're not working 24/7. That can all be accomplished within the first 6 months. That is usually what we focus on in the first 6 months to get you to your first 100K. It's a very simple process, especially when you have mentors guiding you along the way. After that, that's when we look at like, okay, formal launches, more systemizing, back-end offers, all of that stuff to really scale you to multiple 6 figures and beyond. And this is the process that we've used to do all those courses, to do all those launches, to build out all those programs that we talked about in the beginning of this webinar. Okay. So like I said, Business by Design should open in a few days. We do have a wait list. So if you want to go to the wait list, you can go to brandonlucero.com/Wedmore. And that list, wait list, you can join our wait list. You can look at all of our bonuses. We have designed a bonus package that you get absolutely for free when you join through our affiliate link. The way I make money is through my affiliate commission. So I'm giving you free bonuses if you join through us. These bonuses are literally designed to facilitate these steps for you. We have a 6-week accelerator program with mentorship and coaching. We're going to actually make a video for you. We have some additional trainings that you can go through. We have a private Facebook group just with our BBD students, and you get to access myself and my team to mentor you to success with your course or program or service-based business. So with that said, if you have any questions, please go to our page, send us an email, let us know. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. So head over there and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check this out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.